Okay, just picture your personal computer for a second. Right now, imagine it transforming. Code windows are shifting. Models are loading up in that glowing terminal. Suddenly, it's not just a machine for browsing the web anymore. Nope, it's become its own powerful, self-contained AI workstation.
So what if your own machine wasn't just a client for some remote AI, but the engine itself? Not some kind of toy, but a real local AI platform that you can command, you can build on, and you can integrate into your own tools. Well, that right there, that is the core promise of a tool called Ollama.
The big idea here is actually surprisingly simple. Instead of having to rely on some distant server that's hiding behind a paid API, Ollama turns your own computer into a runtime environment, basically a place where AI models can actually live and operate.
So what is it exactly? Well, Ollama is the tool that makes this whole local-first approach practical. You can think of it like a bridge that lets you pull down these powerful open models, run them right on your own hardware, and then talk to them, either by typing directly into a terminal or by connecting your own apps to a local server.
Really, it all boils down to one single word: control. The model is closer to you, the workflow is closer to you, and your data, this is the big one, it stays closer to you. This isn't just some niche project for tinkerers, it's real infrastructure for your own personal AI.
Now look, plenty of local AI tools exist, but what makes Ollama really stand out is how it hides all this immense complexity behind a simple, clean experience. So let's pop the hood for a minute and see how it actually works.
When you type a simple command, something like Ollama run, a whole sophisticated stack just lights up underneath. You're not just launching a model, you're activating a REST API, which means your own custom apps can now talk to it. It enables embeddings, which is the foundation for building powerful private search over your own documents. It supports advanced features like tool calling, letting the AI do complex, automated tasks. And, this is huge, it even provides compatibility layers, so you can redirect tools that were originally built for major cloud services to run locally instead.
And this quote just absolutely nails its value proposition. You know, local AI can get messy and fast. Ollama's success really comes from making the entire process feel practical and accessible, not just for the hardcore engineers, but for pretty much any curious developer. So what can you actually do with it? First up, the basics: chat and generate. You just pull down a model and boom, you have an instant creative partner to ask questions, summarize long documents, or brainstorm ideas. And it's all happening privately right on your own machine. Second, you can build with it. Because Ollama gives you that local API, developers can use it as a backend for their own software. I mean, imagine creating a totally private writing assistant, or an internal search tool for your company's knowledge base, or even just rapidly prototyping an app without a single call to a paid cloud service.
Third, you can integrate, and what's really powerful here is the compatibility. Ollama can actually mimic the APIs of major services like OpenAI. This means that a lot of existing tools you already use can often be pointed to your local models with just a tiny configuration change, instantly bringing all their power in-house.
And fourth, you can automate. This is where it starts to get a bit more advanced. Ollama becomes this control layer for launching AI-native tools and agent workflows, letting you run some seriously sophisticated coding assistants and other autonomous systems right from your terminal.
Okay, so this brings us to the core tension, really the conflict at the heart of this entire movement. It's a fundamental trade-off between gaining control and just sticking with the convenience of the cloud.
You know, running a model locally, it completely changes the psychology of how you use AI. Cloud AI, it often feels rented, right? You're sending your data out to some remote service. But local AI, that feels possessed. The model literally lives on your hardware, and your data can stay right there within your system, giving you this much greater sense of privacy and ownership.
But there's no magic here. The trade-off is that your own hardware becomes the limit, the ceiling. Bigger, more powerful models, they demand more memory, more storage, and yes, sometimes more patience. Ultimately, more control means more responsibility for your own resources. Of course, Ollama isn't alone in this space. It exists in a growing ecosystem of local AI tools, and it's really important to understand where it fits in the whole picture.
So this isn't about which tool wins, it's really about finding the right one for your role. Think of Ollama as the clean, command-line-focused product layer for developers. LM Studio, on the other hand, is like the friendly visual app layer for desktop experimentation. And then you have llama.cpp. That's the powerful low-level engine room for hardcore performance and custom builds.
So let's zoom out a bit, because this whole thing is about way more than just a single piece of software. It's about a fundamental shift in how we're all approaching AI.
So when should you actually consider doing this? Well, it makes a ton of sense when privacy becomes a priority, or when you want a prototype without racking up those crazy cloud bills, or maybe when you simply want the freedom to experiment with open models. Really, it's for anyone who wants to learn how the AI stack works by actually running it.
And this right here is probably the single most important takeaway from this whole explainer. We're witnessing a massive shift where AI stops being just a service you rent, and it starts becoming infrastructure that you can run and control yourself. And that's not just a technical change. It fundamentally alters your relationship with artificial intelligence. You're no longer just a consumer of it.
You're a builder, an owner, a director. You're moving from just using AI to truly owning the workflow. And that empowers you to create private assistants, local agents, and custom tools in a future where your computer isn't just a client for AI, but a host for it.